Okay, it's time to go shopping again, and let's look around here. I think we're gonna have a chicken pot pie with the chicken that I just canned. And so I'm gonna grab a, ooh, look at how pretty. I'm gonna get one with the button top lid. And this is, I don't know if you can see, herb chicken thighs. So we'll get that out of the jar box. We're gonna need pimentos. I love these. Put that down there. We are gonna need, most likely, we're gonna need a can of cream of chicken and mushroom soup. Now this is from last year. I'm almost out, but I definitely use it. And we may or may not need that. I'm going to thicken the broth if I have enough with just the broth from the chicken, but I don't think I will. If I do have enough, I'll leave it alone, but if I don't, I'm going to use that also. And we need to go around here and grab some organic mushrooms. And see, give a once over. Do I need anything else? I don't think so. Okay, let's go get to work. I'll meet you in the kitchen.
Well, hi guys, welcome back to Linda's Pantry. And as you saw, I just did a little shopping in my extended pantry. And this recipe was requested by quite a few people, and I want to fulfill my promise. I said I would do it for you. So well, you saw that I grabbed the herb chicken that I canned yesterday. I've got cream of chicken and mushroom soup that I canned last February, so February of 2015. Tattler lid, rocking, keeping it tight as can be. I love them. And this soup is every bit as, well, no, it's better. It's way better than anything you can buy in a store. In fact, as soon as I get to the last jar in there, I'm canning up another batch. So if you want to see that, and I might modify the recipe a little bit, but I can't tell you how delicious this is. It just is a fantastic recipe, and it's great to have on your shelf. My organic mushrooms, pimentos. I love pimentos. You have to have that in this pot pie. Organic celery, onion, and carrots. All chopped up pretty small. I'm going to saute them off in a cast iron skillet just to get them, you know, where they're soft. You don't want crunchy vegetables necessarily in your pot pie. And I may throw in a handful of frozen peas at the last minute. But for the most part, this is what we're going to use for our recipe, and a couple little seasonings. You're going to need some pepper for sure. All right. Ooh, maybe some parsley. I better put some fresh parsley in there. So let me get these sauteed off, and then we'll get to working on our sauce, and I'll bring you in close. All right. So I'm just showing you how this sautés down real quick, and we're just about done. I can get this into my bowl. And I sauteed this in olive oil and butter combination. Not very much, about a tablespoon. And as soon as I get this into the bowl, then we're gonna start with our sauce. Yum! Okay, so we've got our mushrooms are open. Sorry, I'm a lefty. Organic mushrooms, and I get these at Costco by the case. And this is our chicken. So I'm gonna take the lid off of this. Hopefully you can see that. Good seal. Whoa, that was a great seal. It's all right, honey.
Sorry, Linda's Pantry.
So I'm pouring off the stock that's in here. And sorry about my husband. I'm pouring off the stock, and that's what's gonna give us our sauce for this. Oh, that smells so good. And I'm gonna tell you, the first thing I smell is herbs, and then just a clean, fresh chicken, not a strong, you know, I talked about this in the video when I canned this. If you raw pack, it almost has a tuna fish deal going, and it just isn't appealing. I mean, it makes great chicken salad, but I honestly, I'd rather not. So I'm going to use the broth or the liquor off these mushrooms as well. And then, like any other item, you're going to go ahead. I'm going to bring this to a boil. I'm going to make a slurry, and this is going to be a flour and water or flour and broth slurry, and get that in and thicken this up. Okay, so what I've done is I've opened my can of chicken, or my jar of chicken. I've drained off everything, and I drained off the liquid off of my mushrooms. So I'm bringing that to a simmer. I'm going to add a flour slurry to this to thicken it. And before I do that though, I want to take a taste of that broth and make sure it's going to have enough flavor for me. And I can tell you, when you smell this jar, it smells, first you get the herb sensation, but it smells so good. It does not smell like, raw packed chicken has kind of a tuna almost smell to it. Oh man, that is perfect. I'm not going to add any salt. I might add some pepper, but that's it. So let me get my slurry in there and we'll get to making our sauce. But I think I'm probably going to need the soup, so stay tuned. Okay, so I've got my my broth coming up to speed here. I'm going to go ahead and add my flour slurry to thicken it. And I could have done a roux and then mixed it in, but this works just as well. So, and it's not going to thicken until it comes to a boil. So we'll turn our burner up a little bit. And whoop, now we're going to get thick. Okay, yeah. And I'm going to add the soup to this as well. So let me get that over here because that's going to be fantastic. And we're doing a full 9-inch pie. So even if I have extra filling, which I don't mind because I can make small individual pies, maybe do something like that for the girls at work. They'd love it. And to open a Tadler lid, you need this little tool. And you can get them from the Tadler website. It's almost like a beer bottle opener, I think. But it protects your, it protects your lid, because the lid is plastic and you don't want to mar it up. And then your ring is usually always stuck on there pretty good. Excellent seal. So
Sorry,
we are, yeah, you're funny. Okay, we're gonna add our soup in here, and he's in and out today, doing yard work and training dogs and all those fun things. So it is what it is. My favorite soup. Oh my gosh. Okay, and this looks like the perfect amount of filling, and a couple little spots where it looks like that flour did not want to dissolve right, but it will, trust me. And then I'm gonna have to taste this because I want to make sure I've got everything correct in here. I don't want to go, I wish I would have added something else. And I know I want pepper, so we'll add some pepper. And I like a lot of pepper. I'm a pepper fiend. Okay, so probably a half a teaspoon of pepper. You want to make sure you see it all the way through. Let's get us, and I can turn this off for at least on low. I'm going to turn it off. It's plenty thick. Get us a spoon and taste it. Oh, it's going to be good. You want to taste it before you put anything else in there, okay? So get yourself a little spoon. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That is outstanding. Full of delicious flavor. This reminds me of, it's gonna remind me before it's over of chicken a la king. And who doesn't love chicken a la king? It's such a retro recipe, and it's kind of fitting to have that right now. Now, if you wanted a little more chicken flavor, add yourself some bouillon to it. But I think we're gonna leave it just the way it is. And it's creamy and delicious, and everything's gonna go right back in there. So, okay, so I've got you in close. I'm going to add my vegetables, and I've chopped up a good handful of fresh parsley. And trust me when I tell you, if you can grow this, even in a pot in a window, there's nothing like that fresh smell of parsley. It's so wonderful. So hopefully this bowl is big enough. We're gonna put our veg in there, our mushrooms. Remember we used the liquid. I'm gonna do pimentos, and I don't care if the liquid gets in here. I'm using a whole jar, and I believe that's a 4-ounce jar. Yes. My husband is gonna be so excited. This is one of his favorite things that I make. Now, this is our canned chicken, so we're gonna go ahead and dump that in. And just because I can't resist, I gotta taste. I'm gonna taste a little bite right now. Oh, wow. Oh, my mouth is singing. Oh my gosh. That is wonderful. That is so tender. And I know if I work this too much, it's gonna fall apart. So I kind of want chunks of chicken for the most part. And let's go ahead and put our sauce down over top. Now I'm gonna bake my pie off at 400 degrees until the crust is golden brown and delicious. And I've rolled it out, and I should have made a little bit more pie dough, honestly, but I didn't. So getting my now we're just gonna fold it, basically. Just fold, fold, fold. Oh, that's gonna be fantastic. And you could thicken it up, but gosh, who wants it too thick? Look how beautiful that is with the pimentos and the celery and onions. Oh, I just love it. As non-perfect as it is, I don't care. We're gonna leave it just like that. And we're gonna go ahead and put the pie filling in. I don't know that all of this is gonna fit, but we're sure gonna try. Yep. Oh, it is, it is, it is. So, note to self, I didn't overdo. Sometimes I overdo on the vegetables or the sauce, and we're still gonna put peas in here, so, but that was the perfect amount for a pot pie. Now I'm just gonna sprinkle peas over the top. These are frozen peas. We can let them get into the center here a little bit. It's kind of hard not to have a pot pie without some sweet peas in there, and especially if you're doing kind of an a la king sort of a recipe. Okay, perfect. Now that's done. Set that aside, and hopefully you can see that okay. We're gonna put our top crust on and pray to the pie crust goddesses out there. You obviously want it to overlap a little bit, so, oh yeah, I did have enough. I was kind of worried that I wasn't gonna have enough. And I don't care, honestly, if my pie crust looks perfect. In fact, I don't want it to look perfect. I certainly don't want my husband to think that I went and purchased pie crust or, you know, didn't make this from scratch. So I'm gonna roll the underneath edges over the top here to begin with, and then we can crimp. And if there's too much pie dough, like over here there's a little bit too much, I'll just pull it off and set that aside. Oh, it's gonna be so good, you guys. Yum. Who doesn't love pot pie? And it really doesn't matter what time of the year. It's such a comforting meal. And we've been out in the yard and cleaning and gardening, and so this is gonna be a delicious treat to have tonight. and I can go back out in the yard and pop this in the oven. So now I'm gonna crimp, and I just take my 2 knuckles and kind of crimp that way, or you can take your finger against, you know, your knuckle and crimp it. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just gonna take a knife and give a couple of vent holes here and there. We're gonna brush this with an egg wash so it gets nice and golden brown and absolutely delicious. So let's do our egg wash here. And I just took one small egg out of my eggs. My smallest hen lays the biggest eggs, and so for this, because you're not going to use the whole egg, I go ahead and crack a small egg with a little bit, maybe a teaspoon of water to thin it down a little. But look at that beautiful yolk. I mean, it's perfect. Color of sunshine. And then the leftover, one of my lucky dogs will get some of that. And okay, so this is going into a 400-degree preheated oven until the crust is golden brown, because remember, everything inside is already cooked. And a lot of this came out of my home canned pantry, as well as things that I already have on my shelf, so I didn't have to go buy anything special. So, yum. All right, I'll be back when it's done. So here's my pot pie, and I've got it all cooled. Hopefully it's cooled enough. The filling, you know, gets so hot and it's bubbling out, but isn't that beautiful? Oh, who doesn't want a homemade pot pie? Let me just tip it up for you. Look at that. Woo! Yum. All right. So now that we've got that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and try to cut into this, and without destroying too much. And the other thing, you want to let it cool enough that the filling sets a little bit. Trust me when I tell you, you're going to say that it's set and it's not. It's going to run on your plate, and that's okay, because that's what pot pie is all about. So we're going to go this way, and I can tell you right now, just from cutting through that pie crust, ooh, wait, I just got a little tidbit. This is super flaky. So now we're going to come through and do a couple more cuts. I don't think this is really necessary, but to be polite on serving sizes, because I know we're probably going to have more than one serving. I won't, but my husband will. And if you want to make your filling thicker so it stands up on its own, that's totally up to you. I don't really care for that method. I like to have a little bit of that gravy or that sauce in there, and oh, it looks so good. So I cut this a little bit too soon, but I'm okay with it. It's okay with us, and I'm just gonna give you a little bit of a taste. We've got the chicken, and I could have tightened up the sauce a little bit, maybe next time, but we're not gonna mind this at all. It's gonna be delicious, and the pie crust, oh, who doesn't love that? Let's get a bite, huh? Oh my gosh, that filling is perfect. And there's a bite of that pie crust. Oh, flaky. Oh, I'm so excited. The chicken is delicious. I highly recommend doing this with your home canned chicken. And as always, guys, I can't wait to see you next time for another delicious recipe. This is outstanding. Make it a little bit creamier, maybe some more milk, and it tastes like a chicken a la king. But we're gonna get to eat dinner. So I'll see you next time. Bye.